Hello and welcome to Saturday Night Live. I'm your host, Donisha Gordon. All right, and once you are here, you can go ahead and rep your school. If you're a first timer, go ahead and let me know. And Tyrese is definitely letting us know that he's the first one here. Hello, Mr. Reed. How are you? All right, so as you know, we now have to share the link with someone you know, send to a friend. All right. We are already not on time, on our regular time. And so as soon as I release these links, we're ready to go. All right, again, if you're new here, let us know. If it's your first time, say first time, and you can go ahead and subscribe. Share the link as well. Share the link to the video, share the link to the channel so that other persons can be able to check out links, check out other videos that I have. All right. And there. Anyway, how are you doing? All right. Rep your school so I can give some shout outs as well. Good night, Michaela. She tell me on WhatsApp what me answer here, so. All right. So here we go. All right, let's see who else is here. I don't know if Nicola on it, so. Okay. We shall not waste much time. All right, let me go to my live chat. Hi, Renique. Renique, we know you reach early. All right, Rihanna. Good night, Rihanna. Good night. Hey, Giselle. All right, go ahead and let us spread the word that we have started, guys. Sorry to those who would have been looking out for 7 o'clock. I tried to send a message to see how many persons we could reach to say we would have to start at 7:30. Just a bit of a bit of difficulty. So yeah, that's that. Hi, Natalie. Hello. All right, give me just a second. I don't know where that one jump go. All right, guys, don't forget to share so that we can get the ball rolling, so that when we start, persons don't come in way after and miss it. So if you have a class group, go ahead and share it there. If you have a, you can't send it to the class group, send a teacher, make sure it's in the class group, him or her. All right, so. Okay. Tonight, well, I'm coming on, no, I miss nothing, we are going to chat. All right. Oh, that's Michaela. All right. I see. Okay. I see what's going on. All right. So this evening, we are going to be looking at coordinate geometry. Anybody can tell me what comes to mind when you think coordinate geometry? What are we about this evening? What are we up to when you think coordinate geometry? You can comment in the chat what exactly comes to mind when you think coordinate geometry. All right. Maybe you would have learned the stuff that we're going to be doing this evening. Of course, you know, we're going to do a bunch of CXC questions, but of course we have to ensure so we have the basics locked. Yep. All right. Hi, Romario. I did not see that. I totally skipped over you. I'm so sorry. All right. Hello, Romario. Nice to see you. All right, guys. So just about 30 seconds and we shall go. All right. See, okay. All right, so we have to start off with what is it exactly that we need to know? What are the things that we need to ensure, say, we have locked before we actually even start to, all right. And you can see Rihanna there in the chat answering us. All right. Yeah. Hey, Pinky. Brianna is here, guys. Brianna is here. All right. So, no matter heal, you know. Yep. Good. So Rihanna is explaining, of course, that we are talking about geometry. We're dealing with lines and shapes and angles, all sorts of stuff. But we're doing it in relation to, as she says, the Cartesian plane. All right, we're doing with a coordinate system. All right, good job, Rihanna. But yeah, we are going to know, even as we review these, you can go ahead and share the link so that by the time we start the CSEC questions, which is shortly, persons will be here. All right, I'm gonna take it one step at a time. A couple of things that we'll need to know. What is the gradient of a line? How to find the gradient of a line? We need to know how to do that. We need to know how to find the midpoint of a line. We need to know how to find the length of a line. And we also need to know how to write the equation of a line. And additionally, we need to know the relationship between lines that are parallel, lines that are perpendicular, and how their gradients will be in relation to each other. So again, click share as we are set to begin. All right, so let me just use a text box for this part so that I don't take up too much of the board with my big finger there. All right, who else there? Yeah, man, anybody else there? I can't say hi, so me shout you out. All right, so we have the point A. Sorry, it was intended to be a capital A, which has coordinates 6, 3. We're going to use these 2 points to see how much we can get out of it. Hi, Adriana. How much you can get out of this question. and use it to find the different stuff, then we go straight into the CSEC questions. We have the point A, which is 6.3, and we have the point, I'm not gonna write out an entire question, but yeah. B, which is 10.5. All right, and we're gonna find the different, I'm really conserving on space. So this is what we do. Okay, we're gonna be finding the gradient of that line, the length of that line, the midpoint of the line, and the equation of the line. As we go ahead, as we go along, you're going to write down the different formulas that I'll make a note of. All right. Once you write the formulas, let's say Adriana. Once you write the formulas / formulae, then we will refer to them when we go on with other questions. All right. I won't always write them on the board, so you will have them in your books as we go along. Okay. So how do you find the gradient of a line? Whichever one to begin with. So gradient of a line, we know the popular way to remember it is to say rise over run. And we talk about rise, we are talking about vertical. We're talking vertical, so we're thinking the y-axis, y values. When you talk about run, we're talking about horizontal. Nobody runs up in a year. Anyways, so yeah, rise over run. And it's literally us saying we want the difference between the y values. And that's why when you see this formula, you will see it with written like y2 minus y1 or y1 minus y2, because we're finding the difference between the y values over run, difference between the x values. So let's say x2 minus x1. It's important that you know what you mean when you write y2 and y1, x2, x1. It's just simple as this. We have the point. Okay, now I need the points bigger. Okay, 6.3. That's point A, and we have the point 10.5. That's point B. And we just simply say to ourselves, say, let's call one of these the first set, and let's call one of these the second set of coordinates. The first set, we will call it, let's say, x1, y1. That's the first set of coordinates we're working with. And so we just name the first one, name this x1, name the x value in the other one, x2, y coordinate y2. If you did have one third pair of values, you can say x3, y3. Okay, don't follow me crooked too, don't this so. But yeah, so when you're ready now to find your gradient, you're subtracting the y values from each other. And in this case, we have written y2 minus y1. So that would be 5 minus 3. Let me use another ink. This is kind of on my eyes, so I'm thinking it might be on yours too. And then for x values, we have x2 minus x1, which is 10 minus 6. Oh, the color did not change. All right, 10 minus 6. This would have given us, don't follow me and put two equal signs in one line. 5 minus 3, which would have given us 2. And then we have 10 minus 6, which would have given us 4. And so our final answer would be a half. If you get it, say got it. Also, we know we could have said, so I hope you're right, the half of your answer. I know we could have now said, we know we're finding the difference of the y values to go up top, but it doesn't always have to be a standard y2 minus y1. It's literally which one you call what. So if you even said y1 minus y2, x1 minus x2, we would have gotten, y1 would have been 3 minus 5 over, this is now 6 minus 10, which is negative 2 over negative 4, which would still give us a half. So in any case, so I don't want you to think that you have to be trying to subtract, oh, the bigger the number them from this, the smaller numbers from the bigger numbers. No. Okay, name your coordinates. Which one do you want to be your first pair? Which one do you want to be your second pair? Because the point is, if you don't name them, then you might just get mixed up and you won't remember that, okay, if I write y1 first, I have to write x1 first. If I write y2 last, I have to write x2 last. That's the whole point. All right, so yeah, that's it for gradient. We're gonna keep the points and okay, we're keeping the points and we're doing, I feel like me do that we don't notice a while ago. So 20 seconds to finish writing this off. We're keeping the same points and we're gonna be finding the midpoint of the line. Easy peasy. So in the meantime, if you don't write already, you can go ahead and tell me in the chat, what does midpoint mean to you? Already know and think about coordinate geometry. What does midpoint mean to you? Because this is legit a literal thing we're going to take now, right? So yeah, if you don't write, share the link so that your friends can come on. All right. So yeah, make sure you don't have enough food nearby. I'm just saying. We don't say that part of my favorite parts. Okay. So with 20 seconds must up now. Good. Awesome. I see person saying they're finished. Good. When you think about the midpoint of a line, all right, and I'm not gonna rub you. I'm just gonna write of AB. We should have written gradient of AB. Don't follow Miss Gordon and try to save space. All right, so we are finding the midpoint of the line that stretches from A to B. What we just found was the gradient of the line that stretched from A to B. All right. Terry says he thinks of, okay, he has deleted it. All right. So probably he's going to change his answer. All right, but yeah, we have the line. We literally want to know what is the point that's at the middle of the line. That's legit it. All right, we want to know what is the middle, what point is the middle of this line. Simple, that's all. Like legit, if one line measure 10 centimeters and we want to find the middle of that line, or what's the length that we get to when we get to the middle of that line, what would you do? You can tell me in the chat. Give 5 seconds and I reach this up. Then you want to find the middle of this whole line and it measures 10 centimeters. Split the line in a 2. What operation will we use? Division. Simply divide by 2 and you get your 5 centimeters. All right, fine. So we're doing something similar. Just that we end up doing it twice. Now, if we have or, okay, I'm going to name them again. So 6, 3, 10, 5. Again, you can give them a pair name, like pair number 1, pair number 2. So this is now X1, Y1. That doesn't look good. X2, Y2. And you want to find the middle of both points. It's simply this. Simply this. Both points have X values and Y values. Find the middle of the X value then. Find the middle of the Y value then. Simply that. So watch this. Or X coordinates, or X, we know that when we find the midpoint, we're literally finding a point. So we know it's still a coordinate, which is why I have my bracket and a little comma in between. All right. Or X values are 6 and 10. So you'd write a nice go, okay. I have X1 and X2. And if I want to find the middle of those numbers, I am going to add them and divide by 2, just like when we do the line. All right. So I know that the sum of the X values is gonna be 16. And I'm gonna just write that here. So let's say 6 plus 10. That's 16 over 2. Our answer would have been 8. With common sense alone, could have told you before that the middle of 6 and 10 are 8. All right. So this is literally what you're doing when you're finding the midpoint. And then you go to the y values now. You say, okay, all right. So I'm going to add the two y values then, both y1 and y2. And anything me get, me going to divide by 2. All right. So I say 3 plus 5. That's going to be 8. And I divide by 2. 4. The midpoint of this line AB is literally 8, 4. That's it. If you got it, say got it. All right. While you write. All right, so we have our midpoint. Again, anytime you're done right, you can just take the time to just share the link to somebody. Just in case you don't want to miss anything, you know, share it in your break time. That's it for the midpoint of the line. And for the same line, we are going to look at the length of a line, then we do the last one equation of a line. All right, I still got it then. Awesome. All right, we want to find the length of a line and the length of AB, or actually I can just write AB equals, because AB means the line AB. All right, so the length is going to be, and I wish I had time to show you how we come up with this. All right, but the length of the line is going to be the square root of, may have to stop. All right, so you remember, let's say in the Pythagoras theorem, and we would, let's say we want to find the length of this line, the hypotenuse. What we would usually do is square root the answer of this. Let's say this is x and this is y. We would have the square root of x squared plus y squared. Everybody remember that Pythagoras theorem. It's the same thing. So now we're finding the length of the line, and what we're going to be doing is actually the length of this line would be the difference of two x values. So, and that is where this comes from. We're finding the difference of the two x values, x1 minus x2, or x2 minus x1. And we're squaring that length. It's literally this length. All right. If we knew the length, if we didn't know the length at 2, we would have write 2 squared. But because we don't know the length, we subtract the numbers and it will give us the length inside. All right. And then for y squared, we literally use the y values. I almost write plus. All right. Minus y2, and we square it. All right. Wish I had more time to say that properly, but I hope you at least get the semblance of what I'm saying. But yeah, you'll have this formula to work with. So yeah. All right. And then we have x. So we are now going to put in the values. X1 we said was 6 minus x2, which is 10. If you had x2 minus x1, that would have also been fine, because just before I touch y, you'll get -4. When you square that, you're going to get 16. Even if you had 10 minus 6 here, you would have gotten 4. When you square it, you would still get 16. So it doesn't matter which x value you use to subtract which one, and which y you use to subtract which y, you'll still get a positive number when you square the answer. All right, and y is going to be 3 minus 5 squared. So that's -2, and we're squaring it. And then our answer would have been square root of 16 plus 4, which is square root of 20. Done. All right. And your answer is fine like that, unless they ask you to do something else with it. But yeah. And you can go ahead and use the decimal value. Like if you round it off to 2 decimal places, you punch in your calculator, square root of 50. If you got it, say got it. All right. Then you can, you know, write down your square root of 20, sorry. You write down your answer and you say to 2 decimal places. If you're only down to 1 decimal place, say to 1 decimal place. Add that to the end of your answer. Shows your brightening and we'll say, you know, yeah. All right, and the last thing, what does our chat sound like? Can I write? All right, 10 more seconds, just in case my talking distracted you. Again, while you, Kajiv, yes, Kajiv, you're late. You're late, sir. All right. Good, good, good. Last thing, equation of a line. Clear? All right, to find the equation of a line, you need two things. The equation of a line, first of all, looks like this, the general form of the equation of a line. Y equals mx plus c. I want some Peter, but we can't see right now. Remember last week, I tried to sing with the donut voice, and somebody tells me I can't sing, so, you know. All right, so we have Tajmar. Hi, Tajmar. I just feel like I first see a comment. All right. All right, got it. Yes, Nicola was late. Nicola is late. I see you. All right. So yeah, this is the general form of the equation of a line, which means, so I'll give you a few examples. A line can look like this: y equals 3x plus 2, or let's say y equals negative 4, x minus 1, or y equals 5x plus 400. The point is, this is the general form of how an equation, the equation of a line looks. Here we're going now. Can you tell me, so first of all, we need to ask ourselves, what do these letters really mean? So y, obviously the y value of the, obviously y represents y, coordinate, x, x. Well, what does m mean? We would have found it before, but we did not attach the letter name that's used to denote it. So m actually means gradient. So you can even write, when you're finding the gradient of a line, let's say it's AB, you can write this, gradient of AB. You catch AB right there. So, but anyway, so m actually means gradient, and C actually means the y-intercept. Let me write the C. C is the y-intercept. What does it mean to intercept something? It means literally if you cut across it to, if you say you did go across the road and one man intercept you, it means say in bad driver or something, right? Go in your way. So the y-intercept of a line is where the y cuts across the y-axis, where the line cuts across the y-axis. All right, if I got that, so I got that. Okay, so it tells me then that, for example, in my line, y equals 3x plus 2. The 3 here represents the gradient of that line. It also means that the 2 here represents the y-intercept. 2 is the point on the y-axis, which part this line would cut it. So 3 would be the gradient, 2 would be, I wish we were here to draw, but we're not here to draw right now. And we have graphs done later on. All right. So can you tell me then, in this equation, y equals negative 4x minus 1, what would be the gradient? Since obviously the gradient is always the coefficient of x. That's why 3 here is the gradient. C is always that constant that's by itself. So what then is the gradient of the line y equals negative 4x minus 1? What would be the gradient of that line? In the meantime, what would be the y-intercept of that line? Where would that line, beautiful, I see the answer coming in. Where would that line cut the y-axis? So we're done with that one there. Where would that line cut the y-axis? If you're done and you're just all right, share the link. All right. So yeah, that would now be, hey Shanice, hey. All right, welcome Shanice, welcome. Good, -1, the y-intercept. All right, so we're done with that one there. In the meantime, obviously then I'm happy no one said 4 because you see that it's -4 and -1 is indeed the y-intercept. We have to watch the signs. All right, so obviously in this last one left on the board, 5 would be my gradient and C and 400 would have been my y-intercept. And so if you have something like this, then y equals 3 plus 7x. What would be the gradient of that line? What would be the gradient of y equals 3 plus 7x? What would be the gradient? Y equals 3 plus 7x. Uh-oh, I think I might be, okay, I'm not blocking it. Good. All right. When you say the answer, then I'll confirm. But in the meantime, I'll write something else on the screen. All right. Yep. Yes, Rihanna, I see that for the previous line. All right. So again, as long as you know the gradient and you know the y-intercept, you can go ahead and find the equation of the line. Good. So our gradient would have been 7. Gradient is 7 because that is the coefficient of x. Or y-intercept then obviously is 3. That represents the constant. All right. In some cases, you will see y equals mx plus b. Same thing. It b in the letter they want to use, it just means that it's the constant. All right. So here we go. The thing is, they just gave us 2 points. So yeah, we know, so if they give you the y-intercept and then give you the gradient, straightforward in the question, you can just put them in and write them down. What if they don't give us any of them? Do we know how to find gradient? Yes. If you know how to find gradient, somebody who was here earlier and saw when we found the gradient of the line, what is the gradient of this line? So at this point, you just stop and go, gradient equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and you go on and you go on and you go through and you find the answer. And earlier we said the answer, so I'm just going to wait until someone puts it in the chat, then I write it on the board. But yeah, since you don't know your gradient, you have to find it. What is my gradient? If all you're doing right now is writing off, go ahead and share the link with somebody who might need it. All right. Okay. So we have since we have the gradient now, then we are going to say, all right. Dun, dun, dun. I know the gradient, but hello, I need the y-intercept. I need to find out what C is. Oh, I don't know if I do. So here we're going on. Since as I know the gradient of this line, as we found it before, was a half, the gradient of this line is a half, then I have to say now, I now realize that, hey, I know y, I know m, I know the gradient, I know x, and you wonder why Miss Gardner says she know y and she know x. First of all, this is a point, 6, 3. You also have another point, 10, 5. Any one of the points then you want to use at your business. So to find out, remember now, I have this equation. I want to know what C is. So I have everything else that's in there. I know a point, 6, 3. You can pick any point you want. And I also know the gradient. Anyway, so you're just going to do something like this, quick and fast. Y is 3, as you can see. So you put 3 equals. Gradient is a half, as you can see. X value is 6 plus C. Now that you're looking at the equation, you're seeing it. Now that you're seeing the equation, you say, okay. All right, I can solve for C. Your sister says, yeah, only thing in there, you don't know. All right, 2 into half times 6, which is, you can say 2 into 6. That's going to be 3 plus C. C equals 3 minus 3 because we would have subtracted 3 from both sides. So C actually equals 0. C equals 0. The y-intercept actually equals 0, which means when it pass, when this line here is passing the y-axis, it's gonna cut it right there. So, all right. So that's what you do when you want to find the equation of a line, but you don't know the gradient. Yellow, green. You don't know the gradient and you don't know the y-intercept. You find them. How do you find gradient? You have a formula for that. How do you find y-intercept? Put in everything else that you know, the gradient, the y, the x, and you solve and you find C. As I said, this is the last thing we have practiced before we do the questions them. And so now you can go ahead and write, and I'm going to try to use the top of my screen. Y equals, what's the gradient? Half x plus, we found the y-intercept to be 0. The thing is, once the question asks, find the equation of a line, you want to try to get it to look like this. Get it to look like this, and you'll be fine. Y equals half x is actually the equation of our line. Since we're going to do some questions, let's not tarry here. All right, I'm gonna give you like great. I'm going to put something on the board because Tashmar said it in the chat. I'm going to definitely write that down. All right. All right. And if you can remember this formula that I'm going to write now, which is what Tashmar wrote in the chat. Well, I'm just going to say it. So he wrote that C is equal to y minus mx. Now I had said y equals mx plus c, and if you know that, that's easy. It's easy to manipulate, because if you want to know how to find c, all you simply do is to get c on one side by itself, and you have a formula. So I want c by itself, so I'm going to subtract mx from this side, subtract it from this side as well. That's going to be y minus mx equals c. So that is one way you can find your constant. All right, you're still going to substitute your values in it afterwards. Okay, so yeah, good job, Tashmar. All right, guys, CXC questions time. And we are about half an hour in. Yeah, we're barely supposed to full with maths now. All right. Hey, I'm gonna hear, I'm tell you from what I'm gonna hear from we reach certain levels. Renique. Hi, Jonelle. Hi, Miss Wilson. Yes, Jonelle. I don't know if it's your first time here, but you can tell me if that's the case. All right, guys, anytime we pause, take the opportunity to share the link with somebody. CXC question time. Okay, clear all my drawings. Easy peasy, this one says determine the gradient of the line and then write the equation of the line AB. A straight line is drawn through the points A, -5, 3, and B, 1, 2. Okay, Jonelle, welcome. Good to have you. All right, and we are asked to find the gradients. Easy peasy. See if I can erase me the minute, please. All right, we make a deal. Go through that one here together. The next one, we'll not start off first. Once you're asked to find gradient again, I'm not going to help you. All right. So here we go. Gradient of the line, and we have gradient of AB. And that's going to be, we say we can name the points, -5, 3, and we have 1, 2. We can label them x1, x2. You don't have to, x1, y1, sorry. All right, because x2 would be over here. And then we have y2 over here. All right, so we're gonna find whether you want to say y2 minus y1 or y1 minus y2, anyone. All right, but y2 minus y1 over, that's the rise, over, and now we take the x values. Since we wrote y2 first, we'll write x2 first, 2. x2 minus x1. All right, if you're following, you can say following. All right, so y2 would have been 2 minus, and then we have y1, which is 3. Okay. What's happening? Okay. 2 minus 3, and then that's going to be divided by 1 minus -5. And at this time, you'll be careful with your signs. Do. All right, y minus -5, you can use a bracket to separate your signs. And we also know that those two negative signs that are one another, it's going to change to a positive. Just think multiplication when you get to here. All right, 2 minus 3 is going to be -1 over 1 plus 5, which is going to be 6. And that's your gradient. And when you're done, you check your work to see if all your signs them line up. All right. So if anybody did y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2, you would have gotten the same thing. All right. Take off your gradient for me, the master. And since to get the answer there, I'm going to write right here so that gradient equals -1, 6. Because if you look closely, part B says, write the equation of the line AB. And if we need the equation of the line, I know so that's y equals mx plus c. Mx plus c. And that means I'm going to need my gradient, definitely. Sometimes them baby will know with the question. So they could have gone straight to asking the equation of the line, and you would know you should find the gradient first. But this is where they end up to make your life easy. Them also find the gradient. Yes, all right. Find the gradient, get out 2 marks. And then you are, then give the baby steps to go find the equation of the line. All right. So yeah, that's the gradient. Oh, sorry. I want those to stay. All right. So yeah, now we're going to find the equation of the line, and we know that's y equals mx plus c. We know the gradient already. We don't know what c is. I'm going to mark up the things I know. I know y. I know the gradient. I know x. Why do I know y and x? Because I'm going to know just pick a point in one of the points then. All right. 1, 2 or -5, 3. Anyone you use, you'll get the same answer. All right, y equals mx plus c. Let's say we pick the second pair. So this would have been 2 equals m times x, which should have been 1 plus c. And you solve. So this is where if you're not strong by your equations, you're running a problem. All right. If you are following, say following. All right. So here we go. You continue and you say, all right, -1 times -1 6 times 1. That's going to give -1 6 plus c. We want to solve for c. We want to find the value of c, so we get rid of -1 6. So we add 1 6 to both sides. C is going to be equal to, if you're adding 2 plus 1 6, common sense. That's just 2 and 1 6. All right. So literally 2 and 1 6, which we can, okay, write it first and then we can rewrite it. We can write this as an improper fraction, and sometimes it works out when you're going to use the especially when you're going to use the answer again. All right, so this is going to be 13 over 6. All right, so since we know our gradient and we also have our y-intercept, we can now write the equation to say, okay, y equals gradient x plus 13 over 6. All right, so Yep. This would have been our equation, the equation of our line. That's part B. All right, we found our gradient, we find the equation. Them question here, when you see for exam, they not become hard because it's just simply you assessing what do you have, what do you want. And when you look at what do you want, what else do you need to get what you want? So you want the equation of a line, what we need? Okay. We need the gradient, we need the y-intercept. Do I have any of these? No, if I not have them, I find them. Do I have the gradient? Yes. All right, I still need to find C. Okay, and you go ahead and go ahead and go ahead. All right, so that would have been it. And as I said before, even if you would have used the other pairs of values, the other pair of values, which is negative 5, 3, did I get the same answer? Never mind. All right, so this means we can move to the next question. All right, easy peasy. A straight line, HK, cuts the y-axis at 0, -1. Careful now, guys. It cuts the y-axis at 0, -1. 0, -1. That is, this is telling me that, okay, the y value, when the line cut the y-axis, is -1. Obviously, 0, I mean x value. So y, -1 is my y value. And they are literally telling you that since they're going to ask you for the equation of a line, y equals mx plus c, they just gave you c. They just told you that c is -1. C is -1. Let me write it down here so it comes out of the pink. Well, kind of silly night. All right, C is -1. What's the gradient? The gradient is going to be, the gradient of HK is 2/3, which means we have everything we need to write the equation of the line. So that's going to be y equals mx plus -1. Plus -1 would still give me -1 plus -1. Those two signs will still come together to give me a negative. All right. Oops. All right. So that's 2/3 x, 2/3 x minus 1. Y comes first, especially if you're writing it in the general form. All right. Sorry. Yes. All right. So you practice to put your y first unless they ask you something else. Just like, oh, this question I asked, we know. We are being told to write the equation of the line like this. It says, show that the equation of the line HK is 2x minus 3y equals 3. So this is one case where you're asked to find the equation of the line, but you are not told to write y first. So your question is no answered. All right. But then it did not tell if you don't know extra with it, leave it as y equals mx plus c. Leave it in that form. All right. Show that the equation of the line HK is that. Guys, what do I do here? All right. What do I do here? Dun, dun, dun. First of all, you gotta say to yourself, say, no fraction in your answer. So I need to get rid of this fraction. All right, I need to get rid of this 3 in the denominator. What can I do to get rid of that 3? You're gonna say, all right, if I should multiply this by 3, this whole term here by 3, it will get rid of the 3. But can I do that to just this alone? No, illegal. So you're gonna multiply the entire equation by 3. Let me put it here so it doesn't go in the pink. All right, so now we have 3y equals, if you should multiply 3 by this, you notice the 3 them cancel. Anyway, so we would get 2x right there. And then 3 times -1, that would have been -3. Now, this is close to what they have, what we are required to do, but not close enough. All right, so we see that with 3y right now is positive, but the one in the question is negative. The 2x is positive. All right, that means we not have to trouble 2x. The -3, we have our 3 is negative, that 3 is positive, which means it's just a matter of which side them depend. All right, so if I want the sign of the -3 to change and the sign of the 3y to change, then we'll go have to do some movements. All right, so let's get rid of 3. Let's get rid of anyone. -3 from here, that's +3 + 3. So that's now 3y + 3 equals 2x. It's just a matter of if you can transpose properly, if you can move the things then properly. All right, so we realize we still have one tiny problem. The 3y is still positive here in our answer. And in the one that we're required to do, we need to subtract 3y from 2x. So them literally tell you what to do. All right, so -3y minus 3y. All right, so this is going to be 3 equals 2x minus 3y, which is what we have required. All right, you don't have to, even if you don't flip the sides, that's fine. Okay, I'll give you an extra 30 seconds so you can write. If you're following, say following. Come and notice the chat start get quiet, even though you're paying attention. But yeah. All right. Once you're done, right? Remember, you can say to persons, run come over here, so. So we already reached with first second CXC question. So we're not worry about. We don't have nothing to worry about. All right. All right. Again, once you know, so you done right and thing, let's go ahead and share the live. This is a phone. Part A, calculate the gradient of the line joining A and B. The coordinates of the points A and B are, and it says respectively, so you know that A is 524. I can at least help you with that. A is 524, and B is -10, -12. What is the gradient? And if I've done that before everybody else, you can go ahead and start finding the equation of the line. What is the gradient? Talk to it. Oh, guys, I'm just reminding you that if it is that you would love to be a part of my private CSEC classes, you can, okay, let me be a good person and not just talk, but write. Okay, you can get more information about that at bgmakesmatheasy@gmail.com. Could be at, all right? So you have bgmakesmatheasy@gmail.com, or you can call or WhatsApp me at, I'm just showing the 876 700, 5, 8, 3, 6. All right. So those are the two ways you can contact me. But yes, so this is your time to shine. Calculate the gradient of the line and tell me what it is. All right. What is the gradient of the line? Okay, okay. I'll mute my mic to show no mysterious. All right, apparently I need to move this. Be negative 10, 12, negative 10, negative 12. And apparently the other one now move. Okay, so I should see some answers shortly. What is the gradient of the line? And if you sometimes I find that students find answers, and because they look weird or they look different from how other answers would look, people will stop work and say, oh, this must wrong. When most of the times you are right because you're following the concept. All right. So it don't take too long. It means that I know that the signed numbers is giving you a problem subtracting the integers. All right. But yeah, once I get something, go ahead and post this in the chat, at least so I can comment on it. You might be right, you might be not all right. Yeah, we're all here to, you know, learn and just, if you're done, share the link. All right, I see one answer already. I see negative 3. Dun, dun. I see 12 over 5. All right. I see. 12 over 5. All right. I see negative 3. And of course, as we go along, let me see something to clear everything. Okay, great. All right, so let's take it away. Gradient equals, all right, I see another 12 over 5. Let's see what's going on. And you're actually correct. For those who have a different answer, all you're going to do is just look to see probably where you went wrong, right? You're just going to be like, oh, always on. So, and the good thing is this is math. So if you do this and you get something wrong up top and then you end up getting everything wrong, by right, the teacher only charges you like 1 time. So you lose like 1 mark or 2 out of all of it. But anyway, yes. So the gradient is equal to, let's say this y value minus this one. So that would be 24 minus negative 12. And then over the x values, 5 minus negative 10. We know that right here becomes positive. So that's now 36 over 15. And if we should simplify this, if we should divide the numbers by 3, then we'll actually get our 12 over 5. All right, I saw that somebody got negative 12. Okay, see, so what I'm talking about, just, yeah, double check your work and then you'll, all right, so I see one person's answer has changed. All right, good. So, yeah. All right, so even for the persons who did this, negative 12 minus 24 and negative over negative 10 minus 5, you still get negative 36 over negative 15, which would still be 12 over 5. All right, so yeah, no biggie. All right, equation of AB. All right, equation of AB now would, go ahead. Excuse me. All right. Okay. So we know by the time I get to the end, I would have seen your answers in the chat. All right. So yeah, here we go now. We know the gradient, which is 12 over 5. And different ink, please. Yes, please. All right, the gradient is 12 over 5. And then we also know we can pick a pair of values, whether we want to use 524 or negative 10 and negative 12, that's fine. But let's say we picked, I'm going to pick the negatives for persons who may have picked the negatives. Probably when you pick the positives, you start off nicely. So I'm going with the persons who probably, just work on your, so that I don't have to say this or I don't even have to think about this or worry about you like this. You just practice adding and subtracting your integers properly. Practice multiplying and dividing your integers properly. All right. So yeah, y is negative 12 equals a gradient 12 over 5 times x, which is negative 10. And that's going to be, and then plus c. It says, now we have negative 12 equals 5 into negative 10 goes negative 2. And that's going to be, then we'll have now negative 24 here plus c. When we add 24 to both sides, because 24 is negative here, then we will have 12 equals c. So c is 12. And part c is up here, so it's easy. It says state the coordinates of the y-axis. Sorry, I didn't write the equation. So let's just write down the equation, which should be y equals m x plus c, which is 12. All right. And let's just stick it up with red. All right. So part C is easy. The only thing part C is asking you for is to give the coordinates. You already know the y-intercept. You already know the y-intercept of the line. All you're giving now is the coordinates, which means you literally just say, you know that the y value is going to be 12. And earlier you would have seen a y-intercept that looked like this, 0, -1. And that's because x will always be 0 at the y-intercept. All right, so this is your answer, 0, 12. If you're following, so following. All right. If you think about it graphically, guys, see there, anyway you cut the y-axis, the value of x right there is going to be 0 if you look at the point. All right. So those are our coordinates. All right, and you should be done writing. Clear. Last one here before we take our short break. Okay, go ahead, find the length, find the gradient, find the coordinates of x. So remember, I'll just keep it on the board just for those coming in. Just in case you have persons joining late, we can always just, you know. You can always just refer to it. All right, so the length of AB, I'll just put it here. It's gonna be the square root of, subtract the x's from the one another and square it, plus subtract the y them from the one another and square it. Anything you want, anyone you want to call y1, y2, x1, x2, you can go ahead. All right, and then the gradient, putting this on the board just because there might be persons who weren't here earlier when we were writing on the formula. All right, so gradient is going to be all right, and then we had said earlier that for the midpoint, I'm gonna write midpoint right here. We need to add the x values and divide that answer by 2 because you're finding the middle of both numbers. And we will do the same for the y values. All right, it's your show. Take it away. Student. All right, so my students are cosmic. Sorry for any technical difficulties that we may have encountered. Yes, we wanted to have a live revision video and they never get it, so probably no. Oh my. Somebody just verify for me if you're referring to the question that we had before. Oh yes. Oh, part C. Hold on. All right, so sorry about that, guys. Miss Gordon should have watched the chat. I may have said that a little bit too fast, you know. So we had guys, honestly, Stacy just reached. Stacy just reached. All right, so with this question, we had gotten the fact that, okay, that C was 12. 12 or negative 12. Let me just scroll back. Okay. All right, so we got C to be 12. And we know that C is our y-intercept, right? Part C for this question says, state the coordinates of the y-axis intercept for the line AB. So let me take my time and say it this time. When you think of a line crossing the y-axis, right here, yes, this is the part I may have said too fast. Any point that's on the y-axis, any point. If you try to write down its coordinates, it will be something like probably 0, 8, because its x value is 8. This one will probably be something like 0, negative 7, etc. Let's say another one down here, so 0, negative 10. And that's because the x value is 0 anywhere on that line, which means that if I'm writing down any y-intercept at all, the x coordinate is going to be 0. And so because we know the line cuts y at 12, to write down the coordinates is going to be 0, 12. All right, the coordinates for that point right just up on the y-axis where the line had cut it. All right. So if that's better, then in 20 seconds, I should see you in the chat saying it's. Tonight we're doing coordinate geometry, Stacy. All right. So if you got it now, guys, say got it. This explanation that I had done so, yeah, so fast. All right, all right. Me and Stacy gonna have problem. All right. Good, and this is why I like to pause, guys. I like to pause before I move on to another question, before I move on to another section of a question, because I don't like to leave people behind. Tum, 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 tum. Yes. All right. We're getting it now. We're getting it. We're getting it. All right. Mm-hmm. All right. Since persons are probably still writing. Oh, I shouldn't take that off the screen for still writing. But just spare us two minutes. All right. There's a request for B. We would have already found the gradient. The gradient would have been 12 over 5. And then the equation of the line we know is y equals mx plus c. We should write the equation of the line y equals mx plus c, but we don't know c. We know m, but we don't know c. John L, when I'm finished, ensure you tell me if it's better. All right. We know m, and so to find c, if I can put in an x and a y value into that equation, only c would be missing, and it would help me to find c. All right, let's pick an x and y value. I had chosen negative 10, negative 12, so let's go. Y would be negative 12. That's we're using the point negative 10, negative 12. You can use any one of the 2 points you want. All right, equals M, which is the gradient, that's 12 over 5 times X, which is negative 10. And then we have plus C. Once we finish working this out, we will find the value of C. All right. And so we take with time now, Joanelle, and we say 5 into 10 goes 2 times, so that's negative 2. Negative 12 is going to be equal to, all right. All right, it's going to be equal to negative 24 plus C. Once we solve that equation, we realize that we will add 24 to both sides. And so once we solve the equation, we now have C equals negative 12 plus 24, which is 12. All right. Okay, and now we're going to move on to the other question where you would have found, sorry about that. Where we would have found the length of a line, the gradient of the line, the coordinates of X, which is the midpoint. All right. And great. All right. That's okay, Jeanelle. It's no man left behind. All right. Good. All right, so the length of a beam, I hope you started ready so that when I start, you're just really checking your answers. All right. Just in case you're on your way already in the question, there's one important thing that we're going to have to know for this question. And that's this. I'm going to write it in a sentence on the board. When two lines are parallel, they have the same gradient. And put this in black. When two lines are perpendicular, one gradient is the negative reciprocal of the other. Oh, this looks like a connection issue. All All right, Stacey, let me see if I can get this to you on WhatsApp. Okay. Guys, don't forget to subscribe so that next week when we, let me move this out the way, Stacey. As soon as we begin, you are aware. I think that's where the bell part comes in, where you click the bell. All right, so yeah. Stacey, because I'm taking the picture of a screen, it might not be so wonderful when it reaches you. All right, but yeah, it's on your phone, ma'am. All right, so length of AB, and if you get it right, you can say you get it right. This is probably the last one that we're going to do for the night. You know, because we really don't want to pass 9 at night, you know. So let's get the length and the gradient and the coordinates of x out the way so that I can show you how to do part B. Then we can go to our beds, or you can go watch Netflix, but I'll go to my bed. All right. Somebody had a long week. All right, so the length of the line AB would have been, and you can just call it AB, because A to B, it indicates length. So it's going to be the square root of all right, so we'll see x values. We said me write the formula already, so I won't write it again. X values, sorry, difference between the x values squared plus difference between the y values squared. All right, so this is gonna be square root of negative 4 squared plus 4 squared, which is gonna be square root of 16 plus 16, which is square root of 32. All right, and you stop there. All right, or you can always go ahead on your calculator. So I'm gonna do what I mentioned before that you that you can do. All right. Dun, 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 dun. Right, so you can go on your calculator. Square root of 32 is gonna be 5 point. I'm just gonna write out some values for 5, 6, 5, 6, 8, 5, blah 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 blah. Of course, you wouldn't write all of those if you are rounding off to, let's say, the tenths, the hundredths place, 2 decimal places, which is quite acceptable. That would be 5.66. And you would just put at the end of your answer 2 decimal places. All right, 5.66 units, of course. So don't round it off to 6. Definitely don't do that, right? But I mean, you know, some people just get smart by me and say, all right, but Miss, but me can write 6 to the nearest whole number. So I'm round it off to the nearest whole number. Yay! Somebody gets it correct. All right. And they're almost through. So obviously, guys, our de-stress session is at the end. That's where you eat your food, because you don't want to pass 9, and 9 is coming. And yeah. All right. So we have 5.6 for our 5.66 units to 2 decimal places for our answer. All right. And when we look at the gradient, let me ensure I can see the chat. Good. Then if you take the gradient, talk to me. What's your gradient? Talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. Talk to me. Talk to me. Talk to me. Gradient is gonna be, again, popular rise over run. Just y values, subtract them one another. For some reason, I just don't want to take this one for granted. All right, the formula, write in the formula on the board. So just remember, let's say you label this the first pair and this one the second pair. All right, which means 3 is x1. So 5 is my y1, 7 is my y2. 1 is my y2, 7 is my x2. So we have y2, which is 1, minus first y value, which is 5. You know, I told you that you don't have to put y2 first all the time. I think I have done that. I'm so sorry. All right, doesn't matter. So x2 is going to be 7 minus 3. That's going to be negative 4 over 4, which gives us negative 1. And that would be our gradient. Our gradient is negative 1. The coordinates of x is the midpoint. You can literally just look at, before I write it on the board, I'm going to say you can literally just look at the numbers and say, okay, the x value of 3 and 7. If I add them together and divide by what the middle and 3 and what number is in the middle of 3 and 7? I just answer 5. All right, but of course, you go 5.66 was already rounded off, Rihanna. So we could, by just writing 5.66. We had 5.65 something, some other numbers, and then that's why we would have rounded off and rounded up. Yeah. Because the number behind the 5 was already bigger than 5, so we increased the 5 by 1. All right, so we don't have to round off the 5.66 again. Ooh, aww. Hey, Delano, I feel like it's the first time I'm seeing you commenting. Let me know if you're new. If tonight is your first night, you can let me know. Delano. All right, good. So Rihanna just answered, so I know you guys are very close behind my voice. All right, so yeah, that's our gradient. Now we need the coordinates of the midpoint. I can literally, it can probably roll over here, so. All right, so for our midpoint, that's gonna be at the y value, at the x values, it's a coordinate you're finding, so it's x and then a y value. So add your x values, that's 3 plus 7, divide the answer by 2. 3 plus 7 is 10, divided by 2 gives us 5. I just didn't write 10 over 2 because I'm saving space. Because I don't have much space. All right, but yeah, you do. And then our y values, add them, divide by 2. 6 over 2, that gives us 3. All right, so it says when 2, we're coming to it, Stacy. I'm going to read it aloud. Oh, okay, Rajmar. All right, I see. All right, so yeah, want to say it not really as hard as some persons thought it was. All right, so what's going to stop you from doing these questions correctly now when you see it on the exam? Me know, I'm open a note too. That's only if you don't go ahead and practice again. Aww. All right, Adriana, we're happy that you're loving it. You're loving it. So usually, guys, we start at 7. For those who are new, we start at 7 p.m., but I had a little difficulty tonight, and so we started at 7:30. But it's 7 p.m. on the dot every Saturday night. If all goes well, you know, this is technology, so everything can go wrong. Everything will go wrong that can go wrong. But yeah, something like that. So yeah, all right. Good to have you, Adriana. All right. So, and you stayed with us till the end. See? Samoni, when you watch this, let me see you. All right. And Rennie, I don't know what, but you drop out from early days. Early time. All right. So, the next thing asks for us to find, and just come with me on this last one. This is the last thing we're doing. Determine the equation of the perpendicular bisector of AB. What is a perpendicular bisector? If you know, go ahead and put it in the chat, because we're coming to it. All right. Yes, John L., thanks for joining tonight as well. Take your time. Think perpendicular, think bisector. Think perpendicular, think bisector. Perpendicular, when you think of that, you think of, you know, that line in a straight. So that not gonna make sense for me about to say. Right? When you think of perpendicular lines, you're thinking of lines that meet each other right angles. I'm gonna try same again. All right. So because it cuts it at a right angle, they meet at right angles. So that is what makes it perpendicular. Now, this one says bisector. Not all questions talk about perpendicular bisector, all right? But this one says if it's a bisector, then you know by 2, it splits the line in 2 completely. So let's say this was the line AB. AB. The perpendicular bisector of AB is this line. All right, good. Now, you know why them tell you this? They're about to ask you for the equation of the line. So you put them things here together, 1, 1. So you're like, I think about it now, someone you talk to yourself in the exam. You look on the paper and you say, question you don't bother than. Anyway. All right, so we want to find equation of the line. There are a number of things involved here. All right, y equals mx plus c. We want the equation of the perpendicular bisector. So don't bother go find the equation of AB. They want the equation of this line. 2 things we need for an equation. We need to know its gradient, and we need to know the y-intercept. Do I know the gradient of this line? No, I don't. But I know, Stacy, now I'm coming to what I just wrote down the bottom of the screen. When 2 lines are perpendicular, their gradient is the negative reciprocal of each other. What do I mean by that? Because this question doesn't really bring it out too much. So what do I mean by that? You say if a line is, the gradient of the line is 2/3, and you want the gradient of a line that's perpendicular to it. 1, negative reciprocal. So 1, you're gonna negate it, and you're gonna reciprocate it. 3/2. If I know a line whose gradient is 1/4, the line perpendicular to it has a gradient that is this. You reciprocate 4/1. So you get 4/1. And if it was negative before, it now becomes positive because you're finding the negative reciprocal. Change the sign, flip it. Sorry, flip, we don't use that word in class. All right, but change the sign and reciprocate. Change the sign, reciprocate. That's how you find the gradient of a line that's perpendicular to the one that you already know. All right, I hope we catch that. If you catch that, just catch that. Anyways, okay. So, are you with me? Are you with me? But the question here is easy now because it said that we already found that the gradient for AB is -1. We did find that. So now the gradient for the line that's perpendicular to it, I'm just gonna draw this to say perpendicular bisector. All right, if you can something like this, me draw down there. Let's try to do it properly. All right, gradient of the perpendicular bisector is gonna be literally, this is -1/1. And if you flip that, if you reciprocate that, you're gonna get 1/1. But yeah, I get it positive. So the point is that the gradient here is going to be actually positive 1. All right. So yeah, negate it, negative of it, and reciprocate it. But a 1, so we not really reciprocate. 1 over 1 or 1 over 1, which is 1. Okay, so yeah, we now know the gradient of this line that they want us to find. Now we can robot the diagram. All right, I wanted you to get a mental picture of it. Oh, eraser. Okay. Yeah, so now with the power we are good. You know the gradient. All right, but okay, the x7 piece of the x7. We know the gradient. We still don't know the y-intercept. We still don't know what C is. How come we don't know what C be? But may you know, say, if we know the gradient and we know a point on the line, then we can well find the gradient, the equation of the line. But guess what we know? We don't know no point on the line, but we do. Earlier, then I take a feed that they know so we're smart. So this is what they do. They tell us to find the midpoint of this line, which is B. We could pretend to the same of B, which is AB. That's the middle of AB. And then they now told you, give me the equation of this line. You found the gradient of the line. The gradient of the line is 1. But you need a point to see if you can work with, to see if you can put in them here and find C. All right. So you tell yourself, may I try to go slow so that we don't have to go back over it. We can just go with it after this. So you tell yourself now, I need to know a point on that line, because if I know a point on the line, just like we did before, if we know the gradient and a point, which point do we know on that line? It's the midpoint of AB. It's also a point on this line. All right. So once you know a point on the line, you're good to go. We did find the midpoint, and the midpoint was 5, 5, 3. All right. So now it goes right back to what we already know. You're going to do me a favor. Whether tonight or on another day, you're going to go back over what I just said, since this is the only question that we got that required us to do this. Just repeat back the last part here of the video, the last 15 minutes of the video, and ensure that this rivet in your head. All right. So yeah, now we can say y, which is 3 in this case, equals gradient, which is 1. So you know we're not going to have no problem. I multiply 1 by nothing. X, which is 5, plus C. So that's now 3 equals 5 plus C. Subtract 5 from both sides. You know, I'm going to do that in another ink. It's going to be -2 equals C. Now we can write the equation of the line, because we know it should look like y equals mx plus c. Y equals mx plus c. What is m? We define it was 1. What is c? -2. So y is actually equal to 1x, which is x, plus -2, which is -2. And we're done. All right. And we're done. And somebody's calling on WhatsApp. All right, take that off, and then let's see where we go from there. May I talk with my mic lock off? But yeah, guys. Newcomers, bring on the food next week. Do bring on the food. Usually about in the middle of our lesson, we stop and we snack on something, then we continue. If we did do that, more than so hungry right now. But yeah. All right, Stacy. I would recommend that you go to the front of the video. We had placed the formula there, but God knows how my arts there. You know, me gonna catch it somewhere on the board. So to find the length of a line, that would have been, let me part of these. I'm gonna write it sideways actually. Length of a line would be the square root of, subtract the x values from each other, call them x1, x2, square that answer, plus subtract the y values from each other, square that answer. That's an one too. But yeah, you get the point. All right, so that is the formula for finding length of a line. All right, guys, bye. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye. Okay. All right, love y'all, guys. See you next week at 7. See you at 7. Right here, same time, same place at DG Makes Math Easy. Bring a friend, bring just one friend. That's your homework for next week. Bring just one friend. All right. And that way, the videos don't pile up and then they have to go and watch a whole video by themselves, you know? So it's good when you're on the live and you're seeing and you can get to ask your questions there. All right. Yes. Take care, guys. Bye. Don't forget to subscribe and like and share with a friend. All right. Take care, guys. Peace out.